Hello, everybody. 5.6 section review to review for your quiz the next time I see you. Just on 5.6 and the rule of logarithms. So I'm just going to put that rule at the top. That log base b of a equals x, and that is interchangeable with b to the x power equaling a. So we'll keep that. It's probably the first thing you want to write when you do get your quiz. That'll be a nice reminder. It definitely helps me. So section review number 1, A through F. I'll start there. So number 1, A. And they're just asking us to rewrite each logarithmic equation in exponential form using definition of logarithm. So there's the definition of logarithm at the top. So A says log of 1,000 equals x. So the solution here is simply 10x equals 1,000. Remember, the base is a 10 if we don't see it. So base is b. So b is here. The 1,000 is a is here, and x is what the log equals. X then becomes my exponent. Okay, b. So here we have log base 5 of 625 equals x, and we rewrite this as 5 to the x power equals 625 based on the same rule from above. And I'll just continue. I'm going to actually go down C, D, E, and I'll fit F. I'll fit those all down here. So C says log base 7 of x equals 1/2. D says log base x of 8 equals 3. And I guess maybe it'll be a little too tight to fit E and F, so we'll leave those for a little bit later. Okay, so log base 7 of x equals 1/2. So this would be 7 to the 1/2 power equals x. And then for D, this would be x to the 3rd power equals 8. So again, just identify this is A, or this is B, this is A, this is x. This is B, this is A, this is x. And then you just put it into this other form that we have here. Okay. All right, so I am going to go to the next slide because I'll come back to this for number 2 when we actually have to solve. So next slide, and I'll do E and F here. So E says log base 5 of x equals -2, and F says log base 6 of 1 equals x. So here, rewriting log base 5 of x equals -2. Remember, b, a, x, and our pattern is b to the x equals a. So I would have 5 to the -2 equals x. And then here I would have 6 to the x power equals 1. Okay, so that's really all there is to number 1, just rewriting using that rule, that definition of a log that we were practicing in class. Number 2 asks us now to go actually in and solve for x. Now with the quiz, you're not going to be able to use a calculator. So good thing, like a lot of these can be done by just mental math, but anything that isn't mental math, the problems would be easier on the quiz because they're telling you you're not allowed to use a calculator on the quiz. But so here, how would I figure out what x is? Well, 10 to what power is going to give me 1,000? Well, 10 times 10 is 100. I multiply by another 10. That gets me 1,000. So x has to equal 3. 5 to what power is 625? Well, 5 times 5 is 25, times another 5 is 125, and times another 5 is 625. So this x would equal 4. For C, this is where we would need a calculator. 7 to the 1/2 power, we would use a calculator, so this type of problem would not be on the quiz. Another way to write 7 to the 1/2 power, remember, is the square root of 7. So x equals the square root of 7, which is about 2.65. Again, if you have to square root a non-perfect square like 7, that wouldn't be a question on the quiz because the quiz is non-calculator. For D, some number to the 3rd power is 8. So what times what times what is 8? And that answer is 2. So in this case, x equals 2. Okay, so that's A, B, C, and D for number 2, going back and solving for x. Going on to E and F, 5 to the negative 2, solving this for x now. We would have a negative exponent, means that I flip and do the reciprocal. So x would equal 1 over 5 squared, and 5 squared is 25. So for E, x equals 1 over 25. And for F, 6 to what power equals 1? We know in our exponential rules that anything to the 0 power is 1, so x must equal 0. And that's 1 and 2 from our screencast. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to continue on and do number 3. So number 3 is pretty much just the reverse of what we just did in 1, where we were given the log function and we rewrote it in exponential form. Now, in number 3, we are given the exponential form and they want us to rewrite it in log form and then solve. Again, these, if you would need a calculator for it, you would not have them on the quiz. You might just have to rewrite it and then not actually solve for x. But in the homework, they're asking us to. So A, 10 to the x equals 0.001. B says 5 to the x equals 100. C says 35 to the x power equals 8. D says 0.4 to the x equals 5. So I'll do the same thing. I'll do A, B, C, and D, and then I might have to pick up the other screencast with E and F. But we'll see how that works out. So 10 to the x power, again, remember B to the x equals A, and that's interchangeable with log base B of A equaling x. So this would be kind of hard to solve this way. So if I rewrite it as log, I would have log base 10, which I can write in, but I don't have to, okay, of 0.001 equals x. And then I can use the calculator to solve, and I would find out that x equals negative 3. For B, this would be log base 5 of 100 equals x, and then I would use the calculator to solve, and I would get that x equals 2.8614. For C, again, here's B, here's x, and here's A. So rewriting log base B, so log base 35 of A, which is 8, equals x. And again, using the calculator, we would find out that x is equal to 0.5849. And finally, for D, why isn't it letting me pick my color? Come on. Yes, thank you. There we go. Okay. For this one here, again, here's B, XA, so log base B, so base 0.4 of 5 is equal to X. Again, plugging in the calculator. Since our calculator does nice other bases, we would have X equals negative 1.7565. Okay, so click on the next screencast for E and F from number 3, because I think I'm going to run out of time on this one. And remember, you probably on the quiz only have to do this piece of it. You would not have to solve for X, because on the quiz we're not going to use a calculator, so they're not going to ask you to try to do log base 5 of 100 without a calculator. Okay, so again, go to the next screencast on the link and we'll finish up 3 and we'll do number 4, and that'll be a wrap.